The fourth point, unequal distribution of income. Unequal distribution of income and factors of production is seen into developing country. Okay, so in developing country the income is distributed unequally. Like in India, you might see there are very rich people who are earning lakhs and crores of rupees every day, while there are people who are not earning even 100 rupees a day around us. This inequality is seen in cities as well as villages. Say, in cities as well as villages. In cities, you might see very rich people, business class people who are earning lakhs of rupees, while there are laborers who are earning few hundred rupees a day. While in villages also there are same kind of condition. 20% rich people of the country shares 40% national income, and the poorest 20% people share just 10% of the national income. Now we'll understand this with a simple understanding. Say the national income is 100 rupees. So out of this 100 rupees, 40 rupees is given by given by 20 people, while the other the other 10% 10 rupees is given by 20 people. Okay, so you can understand the top 20 people gives 40 rupees out of this 100, while the bottom 20 people gives just 10 rupees, while the other, okay, while the other 50% is contributed by the other 60% people. They are termed as middle class. They are termed as middle class people. This concentration of income and property is seen in hand of rich people in developing economy. This is seen. Okay, rich people have concentration, have a lot of property with them, and that is seen. So that's why there is an unequal distribution of income. Next comes unemployment. Unemployment may be counted as an important feature for developing countries. In these countries, ratio of unemployment is more than 3% of the total labor. The total out of this total labor, 3% are unemployed. In these countries, different types of unemployments are seen. Now, there are different kinds of unemployment. Now, what is unemployment? First, needs to wonder who is called unemployed. Okay, a person who is ready to work, who is ready to work. Okay, first. Second, who is qualified. Okay, third, ready to work at market rate, at market rate. Okay, ready to work at market rate and still doesn't get a job is termed as unemployed. Now imagine a person is ready to work, he is finding work, he is also qualified, okay, and is ready to work at market rates, means the rates which are existing, and if it doesn't get a job then is called unemployed. But there are a lot of people who are first of all ready to work, they are even qualified, but they may be not ready to work at market rates, then they are not considered as unemployed. Second, there are people who are ready to work but are not qualified, and that's why they are not getting proper money, and that's why they don't get job, and so they also cannot be called unemployed. Now unemployment can be counted from 15 years to 15 years to 55, or in some countries 58 years. This particular age is considered as active population. Active population. Okay, so you people cannot be considered as active population. Why? Because you don't earn or you don't add anything to the economic of the country. Now let's get back. Seasonal unemployment, disguised unemployment, industrial unemployment, etc. So these are different kind of unemployment that we are going to see. There are structural unemployment. Okay, then there is cyclic unemployment. Cyclic means sometimes there is what you call boom or teji into the market, and sometimes there is mandi. or what we called the inflation into the market. At that time, the people lose the job, they will be termed as cyclic unemployment. Then there is friction unemployment. Now, due to the change into the technology, some people lose jobs, and that's why when they learn that technology, possibly they'll get the employment, and that will be termed as fictional unemployment. Seasonal. Now, due to the season, suppose those people who are say making houses, okay, kadiya people, right, they will have unemployment during the rainy season, because at that time it will not be easy for them to get jobs. So that is called seasonal unemployment, and this is disguised. Disguise is hidden. Disguise is hidden. Now just consider that there is a diamond worker in Surat. There is a diamond worker in Surat. Now, due to the falling of the economy, he is not earning proper, and that's why what he does, he goes back to his village. He goes back to his village and starts working with other two brothers. He has two brothers, and he starts working with them. Now they have a farm. Suppose this is a farm. The two brothers are working on this farm and say producing 100 kgs of grain. Now when this person adds to this, so total 3 people are working here now, but there is no change in the production. There is no change in the production. Even if the third person comes in, the change, there is no change in the production, and that's why it is considered as disguise. Means if you remove this person out, there will be no change in the production, and that production is termed, that is that type of unemployment is called disguised unemployment. Means the person seems that he is employed, but in reality, if you take him out of the job, if you take him out of the work, there is no change into the production, and that's why it is considered as disguised unemployment. Next is poverty. Poverty is also a feature of a developing economy. People who are not able to satisfy their primary necessities like food, clothing, shelter, education and health are considered poor. So this can be a definition. Okay, those people who are not able to satisfy the primary needs are termed as poor. In developing countries, such people consist almost one third of the population is of the poor people. Next is dual economy. Now this we'll understand into the later part of the chapter, but dual economy, the economy of a country is based on dual or mixed system. Okay, now there is basically two kinds of system. Okay, the market system and the communist system. So this is mixture of both. On one side, backward farming, old machinery, orthodox social structure, less production are seen into the villages, while on the other side there are cities having modern industries, new production process, modern implements and modern sophisticated lifestyle. So basically you can say dual economy is mixture of old and new. Okay, so that is seen into the countries which are developing. See. Next, insufficient infrastructure facilities. Crucial, vital infrastructure facilities like education, transportation, communication, electricity, health facilities, banking, etc. are lacking. See, there is less right now into this lockdown period, into this COVID-19 fighting. We can see the number of the hospitals are very less, and due to that we are facing a very hard time to control this particular virus. Is lacking in developing countries, which hinders is stops or obstacles the development of the nation. Due to this, the development of the nation can be stopped. So now we are going to see about economic and non-economic activity. Before studying about Indian economy, let us know what economic and non-economic activities are. Economic activity means earning or spending money for the exchange of commodity or services. Okay, whenever you spend money or earn money in the exchange of commodities or services, that thing is termed as economic activity. Example, a farmer, an artisan, a businessman, a teacher. So all these people will provide you service or goods in exchange of the money, and that's why it is termed as economic. Second, non-economic activity. Activities that are not aimed at obtaining income. See, that are not aimed, that are not done for obtaining income or reciprocate something indirectly, are called non-economic activity. For example, nurturing of a child by the mother. When a mother nurtures a child, okay, so that is non termed as non-economic activity. Now when you go to restaurant, you pay for the food, but does your mother take money for cooking food? So your mother is doing a non-economic activity, while when you go to restaurant, it is a economic activity. Now the structure of Indian economy. Various occupations and economic activities are classified in three sections: primary, secondary and service sector. This classification of economic activities are organized as commercial structures. All three sections and activities including in them may be discussed as follows. Primary sector. Okay, so what is primary sector? Agriculture and agriculture related activities such as cattle rearing, cattle breeding, fishing, pottery farm, collection of forest products, mining of raw material, etc. are included in primary section. So anything that is related directly to the nature is termed as primary. Okay, all these things will be included into primary sector. Secondary: small and large scale industries, factories, construction, electricity, gas and water supply. This all will be included into the secondary. In short, manufacturing. This is also termed as manufacturing sector. This section is also acknowledged as industry, which includes production. Okay, for small pin to gigantic machines. So anything, any industry that is producing things will be termed, or will be put under secondary sector. Third is service sector. Different type of services that are included in this sector. Services like trade, communication, airways, waterways, education, health, banking, insurance, tourism, entertainment are included in this sector. Okay, communication, like suppose you pay for your phone, then the phone doesn't give you, means the call operator doesn't give you any money or anything, but instead he gives service of calling or internet. Airways, that provides you service of transportation. Waterways, education, then they provide you knowledge. Health, banking, insurance, tourism, entertainment. When you go to a multiplex for watching a movie, they don't give you anything in exchange of the money, but they provide you the facility of watching the movie, and that's why this is termed as service sector. Normally the primary sector dominates the developing countries. With this we have already seen dependence on agriculture, so the primary sector is dominating into developing countries. Primary sector contributes the most in employment generation. See, most of the people, we had already seen 60 percentage of people were engaged into the primary sector. However, as there is rise in economic development, significance of primary decreases. As the economic development, as the country develops, the primary sector goes down. In comparison to secondary and service sector, an importance of industrial sector and service sector increase. So in developed countries, the secondary or the industrial sector and the service sector are more in compared to the primary sector. Now factors of production. Now when you want to produce anything, then there are four things that you will be needing. Okay, there are four things that you will be needing. Production is done with help of natural resources. See, how do you produce? With the help of natural resources and labor. Different type of tools are used for production. These factors are divided into four parts: land, capital, labor and entrepreneurship. Now first of all, land. In normal sense, land is the upper layer of the earth. Okay, here there is a spelling mistake. EARTH. Okay, the upper layer of the earth. But in terms of economics, okay, if I tell you what is land, then you will show me earth. But in economics, land means different type of natural resources, which includes forest, rivers, mountain, minerals present in interior of the earth, metals, etc. present on the surface of the earth. Thus, land is natural tool of production. Okay, land is the natural tool of production. Second, capital, man-made instrument. Now, capital here means money. Capital means money. Helpful for production process as instrument, tools, houses, etc. are included in capital property, asset and investment. Labor. Labor means those people who are working in with you for making the production. Now here there are two kinds of labor. One is physical labor and second is mental labor. Okay, labor means mental or physical work done with the aim of obtaining monetary gain. Why the labor is done? So that they can earn money. Labor is a living factor. See, this is important. Labor is a living factor, means a alive factor, while other three are non-living factors. Work of farm, laborers, workers, teachers, doctors, artisans, etc. is called labor. Okay, so this all will be termed as laborers. The fourth part is entrepreneurship. Now, what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is basically the management. Means when all these three factors are combined and the production is taken out, so this is process is called entrepreneurship. The person who efficiently combines the three factors of production, land, capital and labor, is called entrepreneurship. The process of coordinating, this is very important, process of coordinating the three factors of production in profit making is called entrepreneurship. Okay, so coordination of these three factors into making the other factors and into making the production is termed as the entrepreneurship.